Hi, I'm John Molesky, host of Dialogue, joining you from the set of Dialogue here at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, where I've just conducted an interview with our guest, Philippa Sturm. Philippa is the author of this book, Mendez v. Westminster, School Desegregation and Mexican-American Rights, writing about a very important court case that is not as widely known as some others. We were just talking about reasons for that, maybe one because it never made it to the Supreme Court, decided at a lower level. But tell us why you decided to immerse yourself in this case and write the book.
Simply because it was unknown, simply because Mendez versus Westminster is a really important part of American history that is unknown, as you said, in part because the case didn't go all the way to the Supreme Court, but I think in part because when we think of the civil rights movement in the United States, we think of African Americans, who of course were the premier part of it. But we forget that other groups were out there fighting against discrimination and segregation. And Mendez versus Westminster is the key part of that fight, the part where Mexican-American parents told to send their kids to segregated schools, stood up and said no.
I think one of your reviewers said that this case did more for Mexican-Americans than Brown did for African-Americans. That significant?
That's significant. I don't know whether it's more or exactly the same or whatever, but it's clearly very, very significant. And it helped activate the Mexican-American community that began political organizing on a very big scale. It was really a crucial moment in not only Mexican-American history, but American history.
And you mentioned its ties to Brown. One of those, NAACP, says that the brief that it filed in the Mendez case was
the trial run for Brown versus Board of Education. Yes, that's when they first were able to say, not that you have to make your schools equal, which is what the NAA had been saying in court up to then, but that you have to integrate your schools.
What is the lesson learned when you look at this case and you look at the current controversy over Latino immigrants, not necessarily only from Mexico, but as clearly the battleground of Arizona has become a focal point in this? What do you take away when you look back at lessons probably that we've already learned in history but tend to forget?
Well, partly that the fight never ends, that it seems to go on, that somehow we always manage to find yet another group to discriminate against, but also that there are always going to be people there to fight that kind of discrimination. That happened in Mendez. That's certainly happening today in the Arizona case.
Thanks, Philippa. Continued success with the book.
Thank
and
you.
If you'd like to know more about the book or more about the Wilson Center or see my entire 30-minute interview with our guest, go to our website, www.wilsoncenter.org. Look on the right-hand side of the screen at the top. You'll see a tab for Dialogue. Click that and you can see the entire interview. Thanks.